What's going on, family? This is Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. October 7th, 1932, New York Madison Square Garden spectators will witness 36-year-old Benny Leonard, known as the Ghetto Wizard, and the babyface assassin Jimmy McLarnin. And the spectators would not be happy with this matchup because they knew that Benny Leonard didn't quite have a chance, although they were very confident in their man. But Benny Leonard was making a return bout. He was 19-0 with one draw in his return. You see, in 1929, the stock market would crash and Benny Leonard would lose $500,000 and would clean out all of his finances. But before we get into this fight, let's get a better perspective of both men. Jimmy McLarnin was known as the babyface assassin. He was born in Ireland and he ran through Canada. December 19th, 1907, he died. October 28th, 2004, he was 96 years of age at the time of his death. I had the pleasure of meeting Jimmy McLarnin multiple times. He had a fighting career record of 69 total bouts. 55 wins, 21 knockouts. He lost 11 fights and he had 3 draws. He would be in the ring with Barney Ross 3 times. Matter of fact, he would lose his welterweight championship crown to the great Barney Ross out of Chicago. He would defeat Young Corbett III for the title. But he'd be in the ring with Sammy Fuller and Billy Patrol 3 times, Fargo Express, Joe Glick and Ruby Goldstein, Sergeant Sammy Baker, Phil McGraw, Ray Miller out of Chicago, and Johnny Lamar. Lewis Kid Kaplan, who was the knockout artist. He would face young Jack Thompson, Young Corbett III, Sid Terrace and Charles Bud Taylor, Doc Sneal, and of course, the great Benny Leonard. He faced Fidel LaBarba 3 occasions and Memphis Powell Moore. By the way, he was in a ring with Charles Bud Taylor 3 separate occasions. You're looking at a dynamite fighter and the babyface assassin. As for Benny Leonard, he was born April 7th, 1896, Lower East Side of New York. Died April 18th, 1947. He was 51 years of age at the time of his death, and he would be refereeing a match in St. Nicholas Arena. He would suffer a heart attack, and he would collapse in the ring. Benny began boxing November 1911. He would face great fighters such as Johnny Kilbane, 1917. Charlie White defeated him. Charlie White was a southpaw. He was also an orthodox boxer. So a great fighter was Charlie White. Being in the ring with Johnny Dundee 8 separate occasions. Johnny Dundee was known as the Scotch Wop. He can play the ropes better than anyone. Jack Britton, twice. Rocky Kansas, 4 times. Freddie Welch, 3 times. Ted Kid Lewis and Lou Tendler, 2 separate occasions. Lou Tendler was a southpaw. He was from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He was a master boxer, one of the greatest southpaws in the history of the game. May 28th, 1917, Leonard became the world lightweight champion after losing twice to champion Rocky Kansas. 21-year-old Leonard had KO'd Kansas in the 9th round. Now, Benny went 19-0 with 1 draw before entering the ring with the welterweight champion, Jimmy McLarnin. Now, Benny Leonard was 36 years of age, weighed 155 pounds, and Jimmy McLarnin weighed 147.25 pounds. Fight took place in New York Madison Square Garden in 2 minutes and 55 seconds in 6th round. Was scheduled for 10. Referee Arthur Donovan had seen enough because Benny Leonard was dropped in the 2nd round and the entire arena stood on their feet. 2 men had a heart attack. They couldn't believe what they were watching because you have to understand Benny Leonard was an idol in that Jewish community. Had well over 300 fights, over 125 no decision contest. He was in there with everyone. Abner ranked number 1, along with Joe Gans, the greatest lightweight champion of all times. He was a master boxer, was Benny Leonard. And when referee Arthur Donovan had to stop the fight, he himself had to take a breath. He was just as much of a fan as Benny Leonard as everyone else. And when Benny got dropped in the second round, he got up and he staggered. And when I spoke with Jimmy McLarnin, he told me he did not want to hit Benny Leonard. But he said Benny Leonard was so determined and he punched very, very hard. He said he could knock your teeth out. And when he realized and recognized that, he had to keep him at bay. But he had to go on and take him on out in the 6th round because he believed Benny Leonard was getting tired. And he tried to carry Benny Leonard, but Benny Leonard was too aggressive, and he truly believed he could win. Now, I already listed the names that Jimmy McLarnin was in the ring with. I gave you somewhat of a perspective on the opponents and champions that Benny Leonard was in the ring with. But on the night of October 7th, 1932, was one of the saddest nights in Madison Square Garden history, outside of Joe Louis and Rocky Marciano, 1951. 2 great fighters, 2 Hall of Famers. Benny Leonard had to go up to the welterweight division to accept that challenge. I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuffs series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Salute to Benny Leonard, the Ghetto Wizard. Jimmy McLarnin, the babyface assassin. What names in boxing history? Thanks for hanging in there with me. Until next time, salute.